talks classic rock. Q1043.
I have the pleasure of welcoming back to Sunstein Sunday the legendary, one of the founders of Yes, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee, John Anderson. And I just, first of all, welcome. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you so much.
I was just saying to John, am I in a time warp? Because I remember talking to you in person in real life about a year ago about your new album 1000 Hands, and now I just heard that it was released on July 31st. So I'm thinking, I'm so confused, like everyone else in the pandemic. I'm so confused. So what is going on? I know the album's finally out.
Yeah, well, the album started 30 years ago, recording in Big Bear, which is a ski resort near LA. And we never really got the songs finished. And then 20 years later, 18 years later, actually 28 years later, wait a minute, the producer got in touch with me. He was in Orlando and said, have you got the tapes? And I said, the tapes. Oh, the tapes from Big Bear. Yeah, I've got them in the garage. He said, well, send them to me. We'll put them into the computer and see if they're any good, which we did. And they turned out to be very good. So a couple of years ago, we started working on it, and he started asking some of his musical friends to play on it, because I told him that the album was all about getting people to play on the album, special people like Billy Cobham, Chick Corea, Ian Anderson, just people that I've met during the course of my career. And he was brilliant because Michael Franklin, the producer, he'd been on tour with Chuck Berry for 12 years, and he knew so many musicians, the Tower of Power, and so on and so on. So they all joined in on the album. And I thought last year when we met, the album was going to come out in July last year, and now it's coming out now. So hey,
like everything else, it's just everything is upside down.
Crazy time. I want to send a big hello to all the people, the first responders, the nurses and doctors, and all these great people who are taking care of the people that are going through this crazy time. And it's a change. It's a sort of evolution of life, and a waking up of life to take care of Mother Earth, for God's sake, you know?
So, John Anderson, how did you handle the pandemic? Where were you quarantining, and how did you hold up? Because you are one of the most positive people I've ever met in my life. So if anyone could handle this shutdown and pandemic, it's John Anderson.
Well, the day that it happened, I was doing a barbecue. I lived with my wife, Jenny, up in the mountains, away from the village, up in Central California. And I slipped on the steps and broke my foot in two places. Yeah. So I had to get a big ski boot, what they called a big boot that you put on. And I was on crutches for a month. I couldn't carry anything or do anything. So my wife became the goddess and taking care of me. But I spent every day in the studio. I could get on my crutches. My studio's in the cottage, and I'm in it now. And I decided, realizing that I was going to be, me and Jane were going to be away from the world. You know, we can't tour for 2 or 3 months, so I'll get on with my work. So that's what I've been doing, is finishing a lot of music, a lot of songs. I'm so excited about that. So disappointed in the way this country is being mismanaged, that's for sure, along with millions of other people. But this too shall pass, as they say.
So you're still in California, where things are getting worse and not better.
It's true. We're very fortunate where we live. There isn't that much going on in terms of people dying so much. But we see it all every day. We see what's going on every day. We just get on with life. And because we don't go out, I'm doing all the cooking. But when I was the first month, Janie, my wife, did all the cooking. So she had to do the cooking, the cleaning, the washing up, the garbage, you name it. She was a goddess, I got to tell you.
But this is a switch, because one of the things I remember you telling me is that every morning you would bring your lovely wife, wasn't it breakfast in bed or was it just coffee in bed? But
Breakfast,
this was your
breakfast
thing.
in, breakfast in bed on a tray. Now she did that for me for a month.
Wow. So it was totally switched around. That must have been so
Oh boy,
strange.
it was very funny. And believe me.
Oh, but you're okay now. The foot
Yeah,
is healed.
yeah. I'm walking around the gardens of the house every day now for the last week. I've been able to walk properly. It took a long time to fix, and I'm enjoying walking around and counting how many. I actually walk a mile every afternoon when I've finished doing some work. I'll go for a walk all around 12 times round the garden.
So you don't venture far from home. It's not like
No,
you're going
no,
to go.
no, no, no.
Wow, that's really quarantining. I am talking to John Anderson, founding member of Yes, also Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee, and his latest album, about 30 years in the making,
Yeah,
1,000 Hands, is out. And isn't it named because you basically had 1,000 hands who had input?
so many people. When the internet started up, and I got my first Facebook going, and I wrote down all the people that have influenced my life: musicians, artists, just writers, and dancers, and theater people, and composers. And I wrote down about 200 people and told people on the internet, write down all the people that have influenced you. It really is a very good for remembering who really touched your soul, your heart. And then we had we had so many people working on the album, and it was originally going to be called Us Lot, which means a lot of us. It's a North England sort of way of saying us lot, come on, us lot, let's go and play soccer, that kind of thing. And the producer, Michael Franklin, he said, why don't you call it 1,000 hands? It means very, very good fortune in Chinese. I said, okay, 1,000 hands it is.
So you were saying that you've been handling the shutdown and the pandemic because you basically have been working, you've been
Yeah,
creating, but what's your wife doing? How is she handling
she
things?
is amazing. She's actually been, she's an artist. She does sculpture and ceramics and artwork, and she's been setting up a lot of things that she wants to get done. And she also spent a lot of time just spring cleaning, which was what she wanted to do, and that was great. And now she's working on these other projects. So she keeps busy, and she's a happy soul. I'm very blessed.
And it doesn't look like you put on the COVID-19 at all. In fact, if anything, you look thinner.
Well, some of the time, I'm just enjoying wine a lot. So
I think everybody is.
yeah, we have a couple of friends up in wherever it is, Napa, and a friend in LA, and they collect wine, and they're always sending us wine just because we love each other. And we have Wednesday evening Zoom time, wine time, and just tell jokes. It's kind of fun.
So how many people will be on this Zoom wine hour? Just your friends from Napa, or
Yeah.
is it a bigger group?
No, it's just 6 of us. There's a couple of friends up in Napa, and a couple of friends there in Los Angeles. They're good people, and we always look forward to getting together. And Friday evening is when me and Janie get together with our grandchildren. These kids are down in LA, so they come on the Zoom, and we have a chat and laugh about stuff, and they're beautiful, very blessed.
But you haven't seen them in person, right? Like that is, to me, the biggest hole in my life is I
Yeah,
have 2 grandkids
you know,
in Encino, and
yeah,
I have not been able to, I mean, I FaceTime, okay, but it's not the same. I mean, one is
no,
about 6, one is about to be 8. You cannot hold a conversation with the 6-year-old. I'm sorry. He has
That's
no
true.
attention span whatsoever. But I miss not only hugging them, John,
Yeah.
I miss breathing in their smell.
Oh, kids, you can't beat grandkids. They make you realize why you're still alive. You know, they're very, very good. And I got to say one thing, love you very much. I'm actually doing a run of 10 interviews in the next hour and a half. So I've got to get going.
Oh, okay.
I love you very much. I wish you well. We should do this again.
We will do it again. John Anderson, founding member of Yes, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee, and his new album, 1000 Hands, is out. And of course, you heard that John is creating new music during the pandemic, so we'll be hearing more from him. I love you. Stay safe, John Anderson, and we'll speak soon.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
New York's classic rock, Q1043.